climax of a compelling 7 days of snooker action here in Llandudno, and also of the 8th Home Nations season, with more snooker history about to be written. Can Martin O'Donnell defy the odds and lift his first ranking title in his first final? Or can Gary Wilson become just the 3rd player this season, after a certain Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump, to be a multiple ranking titleist in this campaign? He'd be in very esteemed company if he can make it happen. That's the Ray Reardon Trophy they're playing for, along with a cheque for £80,000. It's the best of 17 frames now, 8 of which are coming your way this afternoon. 9, the magic number to be champion at the Welsh Open.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame, Gary Wilson to break. Gary
Wilson to get us underway, fresh from the high of that magnificent performance last night against the great John Higgins, who came to the party in the second half of the match in a big way. A couple of those trademark clearances to put the pressure on Wilson, but he stood up to it. And the red that he knocked in, Joe, on his way to clinching the match was gutsy in the extreme.
Yeah, he played absolutely brilliant, didn't he, Gary Wilson? Nearly had 2 maximums, never mind 1. But this man didn't play too badly either. I just hope they can bring that same kind of form to this final.
Well, he too finished on a high against Elliot Slessor, making a century in the deciding frame to book a place in your first ranking final. It doesn't get much cooler than that, and he actually said afterwards it was the best he'd felt in the whole match. Didn't feel any nerves in making that break.
That's a great sign, you know, isn't it? Not to feel nerves in the final frame. It's what you dream about. Good safety from Gary Wilson. Had to cover that red near the right corner, otherwise Martin would have had a chance at it.
This is their 5th meeting. They've each won 2. But they haven't played since 2015. This, of course, is by far and away the most significant encounter between the two. Gary Wilson looking to win his 2nd Home Nations event of the season, of course, having retained his Scottish Open title. And his 3rd title in all. For Martin O'Donnell, brand new territory. But being the underdog in this tournament, in the last 3 years anyway, has not been any hindrance at all. Remember, Jordan Brown was the world number 81 at the outset when he won it against Ronnie O'Sullivan as a 750-to-1 outsider at the start of the tournament. Joe Perry and last year Rob Milkins, both unfancied initially.
Well, chance at this red to the baulk corner. Not going to leave anything, but the red is playing, which he has done. Got so close to it, it didn't come away from the pocket. So you could say the first real chance, Martin O'Donnell. Needs to come out of the baulk area. I don't think he's hit it hard enough. No, it's a tricky yellow, that. Potted the red a little bit thick, and that's why the cue ball didn't come out of the baulk area. Look at this again. He caught it off the far angle.
Martin O'Donnell won.
Just over a year ago, Martin O'Donnell was winning the 6th event on the Snooker Q Tour to reclaim his pro status, having dropped off the previous season. He talked about some dark moments to Michael Holt ahead of this final, but he always felt as though he had, in his words, unfinished business with this game, and he's hoping to finish that business today. And as the guys in the studio were saying, the rewards for lifting this trophy are manifold for O'Donnell. He'd be in the Players' Championship next week.
Switch it off, please.
Mobile phone. Let's hope that's the first and last of the final. I won't hold my breath on that score, but...
Well, Gary Wilson's long potting this week has been superb, really has. And he's got a chance here. This red to the left corner.
That would be my worst nightmare.
Gary suggesting it might be referee Leo Scullions. I don't think so. I think Leo's more old school.
Oh, a long way off that one.
Yeah, if O'Donnell won today, he'd be up to 12th place in the one-year list above Mark Allen. And in the process, he'd knock Chris Wakelin out of that Players' Championship in Telford, the top 16. Of course, he has no points from last season because he wasn't on the tour, but he'd be up to 43rd in the provisional two-year rankings if he won today, which would set him up perfectly.
Oh, very attacking shot, this. Yeah, he was opening all the reds up, didn't hold back. And he has left a red on. So both players showing a little bit of nerves, it's understandable. This red to the right middle. Well, just a little bit thinner than he would have liked, but I'd expect him to pot this. It's where the cue ball goes.
One.
And if the blue goes to the corner, he's okay. So really good chance this to put a stamp on this final, show how well he's playing. Used all the pocket, and it dropped in.
6. 7.
Start last night for Gary Wilson against John Higgins, who went into that match as favourite given how well he played, was extraordinary. I mean, to get so close to the maximum in the first frame of the semi-final was actually surprising when he missed that 14th red. And then in the very next frame to make the maximum, and as Jimmy White said, his cue ball control throughout that 147 break was pinpoint, was extraordinary.
Yeah, he's got great cue ball control. Makes every shot easy if he can. Getting right behind the object ball.
Just as impressive, though, in the end was the way he held off that tremendous fight back from John Higgins, who put together those back-to-back clearances from 50, 40 odd behind. And the red he got in for what proved to be the match-winning break was pure class under pressure.
Yeah, although you have to say that Higgins had the first chance in the first two frames, missed the ball, and gave Gary Wilson a chance. A little bit like O'Donnell in this frame. He had a good chance there. It wasn't a difficult shot.
29.
But now it's given Gary Wilson a chance to settle. Nice little cannon on the red. And this is the kind of start that he wanted.
36.
In amongst the reds.
Well, the clear advantage that Wilson has today is that he comes into this final knowing that he's got what it takes to win one. Martin O'Donnell has yet to prove that. In the 2 Scottish Open finals he's won, he won pretty emphatically 9-2 in his first year against Joe O'Connor, 9-5 against Noppon Sankam this season.
44.
He's not afraid of the winning line, Wilson. And that extra belief he now has, having become a multiple tournament winner, is plain to see.
45.
He's always had the talent, but now he's got the belief to go with it.
Exactly. You know, we've seen players down the years who've took a long time to break through. Stuart Bingham was a late starter, as was Barry Hawkins, but both proved that they was certainly
50.
deserved to be in the top 16. Stuart Bingham went on to win the World Championship.
51.
So still Reds they can play for. Nothing for being short here. Better too hard than too slow. Would have had the red next to the pink had he been too hard.
56.
But he's perfectly on this red below the pink.
$57.
He's already made 25 centuries this season. With that maximum as well yesterday. Every chance of making another century here.
I think he's one of the most aesthetically pleasing players to watch, actually, when he's in. He's got a lovely cue action. He's very smooth. He's rhythmic.
65.
Well, there goes frame ball.
O'Donnell missed the red to the right corner, and it's proved very expensive, as it looked likely to be when he spread the reds.
Nice little shot there, bringing that red into play. Giving himself every chance of making the century.
73.
It's a great start, this, and a real good way to punish your opponent, winning the frame off his mistake. This is the mistake.
89.
Martin O'Donnell. As I say, it wasn't too difficult, the red, and full marks for playing it the way that he did.
80.
Showing that he's feeling positive. But you've got to put all your concentration into the pot when you're opening the reds up like that. The white takes care of itself. It goes where it wants to go.
84.
Just picking up where he left off against Higgins last night. He looks very cool, very composed. Yes, it was an inviting table, but you still got to pot them. First frame of a major final, bound to be butterflies in the stomach, but
91.
Wilson already back in his bubble.
Yeah, it could be a good thing, this, for Martin O'Donnell. He knows that he's got to play. He's seen what the standard is. So I don't think he's got time for nerves. Just a little bit too far on the yellow for comfort. Needs the green for the century.
98.
Needs a big bounce.
Shame. Not quite the century, but a statement of intent nonetheless from the reigning Scottish Open champion Gary Wilson. A very fluent break of 98 to take the first frame of the Welsh Open final. A wonderful scene here at Venue Cymru. It's been this way from the very first ball.
Martin O'Donnell to break.
Packed house. But of course it's extra special when we come down to the one table for the semi-finals and the title match today. All eyes on these two players who thoroughly merited their place in the final. And a great start from Gary Wilson. A break of 98 to take the first frame. 7 more in this session. 9 the target for the Ray Ridden Trophy. Wilson, of course, with his success in Scotland, sitting pretty as regards the one-year ranking points. He'll be in the Players' Championship next week in Telford. He's moved up to 8th on that list, so sitting pretty as well for the Tour Championship for the top 12 this year. That comes in the beginning of April in Manchester. So the fringe benefits of winning a big title are almost endless, really. As mentioned in the studio, Champion of Champions as well. Big money, invitational. Security in your ranking spot. Not to mention the money, which of course would have been hard to come by for Martin when he dropped off the tour, but guaranteed £35,000 for getting this far.
Yeah, he was going to play that long raid to the left corner, screw for the blue, but decided against it. Doesn't want to leave Martin O'Donnell with an easy chance and allow him to settle. Playing the cue ball over to the left side of the table makes the return safety just that little bit more difficult. Yeah, as Philip said, they've played 4 times on a season, 2 each. But they haven't played for 9 years nearly. Settle for that. Yeah, the problem he's got here, if he plays the cue ball down the right side of the table, it's easy enough to get the cue ball back down the table. So he's trying to get in behind the brown, cut off the right side of the table, and that's a pretty good shot. Again, just caught it a little bit too thin, and that's why the cue ball has come out of the baulk area. Hasn't had many shots so far, Martin, so needs to settle a little bit more. And you never really settle until you win a frame. Caught the angles of the pocket. Could have been worse. The black's tied up, so the red that's available to the left corner, which is that one. He may, if he takes it on, may try and bring the black into play. Another big shot. Martin O'Donnell had one in the last frame. Yep, he tried to bring the black into play. Now, what damage has he done, if anything? Yeah, possible plant to the right middle, as you can see there, but the cue ball's going into the other end, so there's no colour. So it's a big risk to take that on with no colour available. You could try and get the cue ball down on the ball cushion behind the yellow. He hasn't hit it hard enough, so can Martin see this red to the right corner? He can, but it's not straightforward, this, and not straightforward to finish on the black either. He's going to play this at pace to bounce the cushion, bounce the cue ball off the cushion. Yeah, it's a nervy start so far for Martin O'Donnell. He's had 3 chances. None of them was easy. He expected him to pot one of them. So, chance. It's red to the right corner. I think he got a slight kick there, you know. And the red turned up, but we know this. We've seen it all week. In fact, Elliot Slessor missed a blue, and instead of dropping into the pocket, it went slightly to the right, as did that red. So that's a let-off for O'Donnell.
One.
Oh, that's a terrible shot. Look at the red. Look at it just turning to the right slightly. Yep, it did. It went left. His left. Our right. But not to finish on the black there for Martin.
Rainbow. Sorry, rainbow.
He wouldn't be the first
Martin O'Donnell, 1.
debutant in a ranking final to feel the pressure, feel the nerves. It's a completely different experience to anything he would have encountered before. The chance to play for a big title, to realise his lifetime ambition. And that is going to be one of the big questions today. How is he going to deal with the occasion? We know that Gary Wilson can. He's proved it on a couple of occasions now. Can Martin O'Donnell thrive in this environment? Play the snooker that's got him to the final. If he does, then of course he can win. But that's one of the challenges for him, to be able to relax and play his normal game with so much at stake.
Foul and a miss. Gary Wilson, 4. Yeah. Yeah, Gary, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, nicely played. Just had to find the line the first time round. There was no point in coming past the red and leaving it on.
How did you feel in your first ranking final appearance, Joe, when you were out there?
Well, I was playing Tony Knowles, actually, in the professional players tournament, and I'd had a pretty good run in the tournament, beating Jimmy and Tony Mayo, Cliff Thorburn. So I was feeling good, but Tony was such a magnificent player. Very inspirational, a bit like Gary Wilson. He went 7-1 up when I was all over the place. Took me a long time to get used to it, but I levelled at 8 each. And Tony won the decider. Still in my memory.
Well, I'm sure this packed crowd here at Venue Cymru would settle for a decider today, for sure.
Yep. Well, can't really get a good safety here. Maybe just push the red forward a little. Just past the middle pocket, maybe. The red's coming back down, and he didn't want that, did he? I don't understand why he played it so hard. It was always coming back down the table, that red, if he didn't rattle it in the jaws. As I say, he could have just pushed the red past the middle pocket. Easy to think of the game. Sat here, isn't it? So he's going to have to play this at pace. I don't think he can hold for the blue, so may have to come down and bounce off the black cushion, go back down again. Very risky to try and hold for the blue.
Extremely awkward, goodness me.
Well, he did hold for the blue, and that was an excellent shot.
1.
Can he see the red to the left middle? It was an attacking shot he played, going into the reds there and trying to free the pink, bring the pink into play. But can he see this red? Keep moving. It looks like he can.
Seven.
Oh, he's missed the blue. Now, what's the damage? If there's a red that will go there, it's a nice, easy starter for Martin O'Donnell and a chance to relax into this final. Yeah, just a little shorter pace. Wanted to be straighter on the pink. The black is available to the left corner.
7.
Just come a little too far for the red below the pink to play onto the black, so having to take this red with the rest. They may have to play this red with a touch of right-hand side on the cue ball. Go back down for the pink into the right corner, or the blue. If he stuns behind the red, it could go wrong. Very good wrist player. I hope I haven't put him off by saying that. Well, it's not too bad. I think he's on the black. Try to find a path through the reds and the black. Go down for the blue. Another big shot though, if he takes the black on. And it's not too bad. It's got a thin cut to the left corner. And the blue sat down the table waiting. So it doesn't need to think too much about where the cue ball's going. Just concentrate on the pot. Overcut it.
Martin O'Donnell, 15.
You can almost feel the tension in O'Donnell's body in these early stages of his first final. He hasn't settled as yet. He's had a few half chances. That was the best to date, but too thin on the red.
Yeah, better too thin than too thick. Possible chance. Maybe a chance here of getting him behind the brown. But he's just got to be careful not to push the red over the left corner. Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's in fact pretty good.
Quite a discrepancy in the average shot times, and Martin, as we know, is one of the more pedestrian on the tour again. Wilson gesticulating, feeling that the ball ran off a little.
Well, we saw it coming down the table. It did run to the right. Look at this again. Watch this. But when you play a ball so slowly, look at it going to the right. Fortunately, there's no easy red on.
No, and it's not a great table at the moment, is it, with both the pink and the black in awkward spots.
I think this is the kind of game that Martin O'Donnell needs. You know, just have a few shots, settle, but he needs to win it. Doesn't want to go 2-0 down in one of these kind of battling games. Yeah, good speed. Black is available to this right corner, as you can see. Could have took the red down the cushion. Play onto the black, but it was risky. Cue ball's close to the pocket if it's hard enough. Excellent safety. Oh, what a clever shot he played there, I can tell you. He tried to get in off the blue and play the cue ball in behind the green. Very, very good shot. Look at this. How near was that? And how near was the snooker? Nice fancy shoes, those.
I can see the green envy in your expression, Joe.
Yes, I do like a good shoe.
You're right, though. This is probably the sort of frame that O'Donnell wouldn't mind at this stage of his first final, just to get a feel for things, really. He's made one or two errors. Of course, missing the red in the first frame proved very expensive. The old rhythm and blues, part of the Johnson autumn-winter collection.
Mine was slightly different, Philip.
Well, yours make those look pretty somber, actually.
Pink, white and red. Got so close to knocking that red over the pocket, didn't he? What a picture. The red coming back down the table, but not far enough to go over the pocket. It's good safety from both players, this. Yeah, he's risked it again, and because the table pulls to the right slightly, he hit that red thicker than he wanted. He was trying to leave the cue ball on the black cushion. What can he do with the cue ball here? Can get the red. What the cue ball? Well, That kiss has just made things very difficult for Gary Wilson. This could be an all or nothing shot on the blue. Got to go in.
Blue ball.
Yeah, excellent shot. And now, every chance. Still a tough table, but the pink is available, the black is available.
Seven. Twelve.
No question that in the early running, Gary Wilson looks the more comfortable, the more composed, which is entirely to be expected, really. This is his 5th ranking final. Remember, he's won 2. He's won very recently as well, so he's in the winning habit. He's not afraid of the big occasion. And this looks like a pretty respectable chance to double his lead. Apply the early pressure.
20.
And he'll know exactly how his opponent is feeling in his first final.
Yeah, he's played in 4 finals, hasn't he, Gary Wilson? Won 2, lost 2.
26.
And was heavily beaten by Mark Selby on his final debut.
27.
Won just 2 frames in a best of 19, so it is difficult to bring your A game to such a big match when you're not used to it. There's a long way to go, of course, and that is
43.
the beauty of a final like this, that you've got time to find your feet, but it's a good start from Wilson.
34.
Yeah, just looking at the scoreboard, 29 points the lead. .35 with the pink. Still needs a couple of reds with colours. But he's nicely on this red to the middle, and he'd only need another red and a colour.
40.
Again, that was very wise playing for this red first while he had the chance to.
41. .46. 47.
Just the colour needed then. You could attack the black and red, but just got to make sure of the blue. Doesn't have to hit this hard, just get the cannon to the black. He'd be on the red to the left corner.
.53.
So one snooker to tie.
So we're back underway in the Welsh Open final with Gary Wilson looking favourite to lead 2-0, with his opponent requiring a snooker already to tie. Wilson having taken the first frame, the break of 98. But it is just the one snooker, so certainly not over yet. This has been quite a long frame, even before the break in play, because a member of the audience was taken ill. Happily, they've got the attention that they need. It's 30 minutes in length, this one, including the delay in play into the 42nd minute. But for Martin O'Donnell, it's just about trying to settle into his first ranking final. Remember, this is unknown territory for him. Gary Wilson with 2 titles already, both in the home nations, of course. He's the reigning and double Scottish Open champion. But for O'Donnell, the biggest day of his snooker life.
Yeah, and he's not out of this frame yet, because if you can pot this red, get high on the black, or just get on the black. The red is behind the black spot. It's in a good place for laying a snooker. So it just depends if you can hold this. He needs the black to be able to tie with one snooker. But this is difficult with the long stuff like this. Such a touch shot as well, this. It's got to drop it in. No, decided to go up and down. And not the best position. As I say, if he takes the pink, he needs 2 snookers.
1.
So it's got to be the black. So definitely 2 snookers now, taking the pink.
7. Martin
And that's
O'Donnell.
1 snooker. And because it's so far away from the cushion, a little bit harder to hit. I wouldn't expect him to miss this, but just got to be aware of the free ball and not play it too hard.
Foul. Martin O'Donnell, 4.
No free ball. So 1 more snooker needed. He himself needed 3 snookers when he was defending his Scottish title in the final. Make that semi-final.
Yeah, that was remarkable. Again, show you long.
Red's coming back down the table. Doesn't want to hit that middle pocket bump. Brown in a good spot for snookers. Every time they play a slow shot, the cue ball seems to run a different angle. This table is pulling to the right. Well, a couple of good kisses. Again, I wouldn't expect him to miss this, but I didn't expect him to miss the other one. And if he does miss it this time, it's definitely a free ball.
1.
So, got to get that cue ball in a spot where you can play the snooker in behind the brown. He had a look at the shot before he took the red on.
8.
I think I would have preferred to have been on the baulk cushion.
Martin O'Donnell, 8.
Yes, in that extraordinary semi-final between Gary Wilson and Zhou Yulong, Wilson actually eventually got back into that final frame. Remember, Zhou had already celebrated victory with a fist pump with a 4-point snooker and then a 5-point snooker on the blue to tie the frame, and then eventually one on the respotted black, having needed 3 4-point snookers at one stage. It was incredible stuff. And of course, he then went on to make the most of that act of escapology and beat Noppon in the final.
Yeah, maybe a chance here of the snooker. Well, didn't expect it to be behind the blue, but he's got it. Again, I wouldn't expect him to miss this. It's straight up and down. You just never know. In fact, he can hit the yellow. Well, with the brown going close to the green, if Martin could get a chance at the yellow, every chance of getting in behind the brown. So catching the yellow thick confirms my belief that the table's running to the right.
.38 the difference. 28 the difference, I should say. So O'Donnell still looking for the one snooker he now needs. What a frame this would be to win for him. That would certainly settle him down. Seemed long odds just now, but much stranger things have happened.
Yeah, moving the brown away from the green hasn't done himself any favours. I think he's a little bit unfortunate. I think this is swervable. It's a fraction of being a very good snooker. Had it not kissed the blue, it would have been a different class. Where's the cue ball? Oh, wow.
Wasn't far away, was it? And the longer that this situation continues, the greater the chance that things could turn against Wilson in this increasingly marathon frame, which is now into its 55th minute. That includes the delay in play, of course.
Well, the blue in a nice place for snookers, but he may be forced into potting the yellow here.
Two.
He's got to play him behind it with a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball. If he's playing it thin, green's going towards the pocket. He's happy with that. Once again, he's hit the wrong side of the green there. He was trying to leave the cue ball in behind the black, but because the table is pulling to the right, he's hit it the wrong side of the green.
Wilson could pot the green, then O'Donnell would need 3 snookers and the frame would surely be over.
Well, I expected him to go for the green there. Shouldn't be too worried about leaving the green on. There's no easy snooker. And that's pushed the pink into a good position. Blue and pink, really good positions for snookers.
On we go then. Very nearly an hour since this frame first got underway. Wilson remains the favourite, but it is still just the 1 snooker required for O'Donnell to turn this frame around and level the final.
Yeah, needed 2 to start with. Oh, that hasn't done him any favours. Pushing the pink safe. Again, waving his arms in the air, saying the cue ball has drifted to the right. Well, it does.
This frame has ground to a halt, really. O'Donnell still plotting away to get the snooker he needs to turn it his way. in the end decided to pot the green.
Yeah, he couldn't think of a decent safety shot or attempted snooker. Didn't really want to pot the green, but felt he had no option. Doesn't want to pot the brown, though. The blue's in a good spot. Just a little bit too much left-hand side on the cue ball. As I say, if you can get him behind the blue, it would be a good snooker, wouldn't it? He's battling, no doubt about that. Just got to be careful here not to go for the brown and find a pocket with the cue ball. Yep, too experienced to play that shot. And that is a pretty good shot. Didn't really want to pot this brown, but he's got no option.
This frame now into its 64th minute. And it's only the second of a scheduled 8 in this first session. On a day of a possible 17. 9, of course, is the target for the title.
Four.
Just where he didn't want to be.
Martin O'Donnell, 4.
If it's achieved anything, this frame, assuming O'Donnell doesn't get the snooker he needs, I think it will have at least given him the chance to maybe expel some of those final nerves that he was, I'm sure, feeling in the first couple of frames of this match. And of course, this is still the second frame, believe it or not.
Yeah, and he's slowed his man down, hasn't he? I mean, Gary Wilson was playing pretty good, making that 98 in the first. Also made a 52 in this frame. So he was playing well. So he's slowed him down a little. Maybe a chance to bring the pink into play. And now the pink in a good spot. He's pushed the black a little closer, but he'd swap that for the pink being where it is. Again, he's saying it pulled to the right. Well, it does.
Yeah, it's not breaking news, really, is it? Let's be honest. We've seen quite a bit of this week. Good effort.
I'll say That was very close, a touch slower. What a snooker that would have been. Oh, there goes. Oh, it was in his mouth there. But that should put an end to this frame.
Finally. Big whoops of applause. I think relief as much as anything for this crowd.
11 on the frame.
What a marathon. A frame that in the end lasted in excess of an hour and 7 minutes, but it's gone the way that it looked likely to for a very long time. The way of the Scottish Open champion Gary Wilson, who leads 2-0. I'm sure both players actually pretty happy to see the back of that very extended second frame. That is what they're playing for, of course, the iconic Ray Reardon trophy, named in honour of the 6 times champion, now in his 90s and still making century breaks. Extraordinary.
Thank you.
Gary Wilson, though, in charge at the moment. 2-0 up, first to 9 to lift that trophy.
So,
Oh, we missed.
the table pulls to the right.
Gary Wilson, 4.
Excellent pot. Cue ball, staying short of the baulk line. Good pot with the rest. What a great scene that is, isn't it?
Wilson would be relieved in the end to get that frame over with, because at one stage, as Joe mentioned, O'Donnell did need 2 snookers. He got one of them, and the longer a frame like that goes on, the more you doubt whether things are actually going to end up going your way from a position of strength. So he's got that out of the way, and he's looking now to re-establish the fluency he showed in the first frame and a half when he made those breaks of 98 and 52. He's certainly been much the more in control so far, with the experience of those finals under his belt, 2 of which he's won, and a second of which was only a handful of weeks ago in Edinburgh to retain his Scottish Open.
18.
O'Donnell sitting in his chair there, looking a little concerned again at the way things are unfolding in frame 3.
Yep, caught the, well, missed the red completely, didn't he? But it was a good pot from Gary Wilson. Now, maybe a chance to open more reds up here, taking this red onto the right corner. And that certainly opened things up. Nicely on the blue. And brought another 3 or 4 reds into play. And this is what he does best when he's attacking the balls. Pinning the balls up, playing attacking snooker. This red at the back of the pack will go. So another 3 reds before he needs to bother about going into the reds. Well, he might decide to open them up again here with the insurance of that red over the pocket. He's considering it. Doesn't need to hit them hard, just give them a little touch.
Nine. 40.
Looking to become just the 3rd player this season after Judd Trump and Ronnie O'Sullivan to win 2 ranking titles, and only the 5th player to win 3 Home Nations titles or more after Trump,
47.
Mark Selby, Neil Robertson and Mark Allen, as Martin O'Donnell once again watching on from his chair. Wow, he very nearly overcut that red.
Well, the cue ball does drift to the right there, doesn't it? We've seen it with blacks going towards that pocket. And as you say, very nearly overcut it. Now, can he see enough of this red directly above the black?
55.
It appears not. No, can't see enough of that. So just a safety.
Gary Wilson, 55.
Nice 55. Pushing a red safe onto the right side cushion. That's not turned out too badly. It's covered the red over the right corner. Don't think he's got enough angle to attempt to pop that red off the cushion. Gary Wilson has got another red safe on the left side cushion. Didn't want the kiss on the yellow. So another chance here. Things just not going for Martin O'Donnell at the moment. And having said that, shouldn't have made contact with the yellow.
Heavenward glance, it's looking likely to be 3-0 now, if Wilson can knock this red in.
One.
He's been rock solid, Gary Wilson. Looks very relaxed this afternoon. This is becoming familiar territory for him. For my money, his real breakthrough was his run to the semi-finals at the Crucible back in 2019, where he eventually lost to Judd Trump, but he beat Mark Selby, he beat Ali Carter. And I think that really announced him as a player on the big stage. He'd already been in a ranking final, but to mix it with the best and beat the best in the biggest tournament of all, I think gave him that extra belief. And of course that was confirmed in winning his first Scottish Open title last season, which he's backed up again this season, and this frame is done.
14.
Yeah, it was a poor safety from Martin O'Donnell, catching the yellow. And quite a number of shots are just not going Martin's way at the moment. He's had chances. But as I said right at the very beginning, you don't really settle until you win a frame. And this next one is all important, really. 3-1 at the interval, and he's still very much in this. 4-0, and he's under the cosh.
Okay, 29.
Yep, and everything just going nice and easy for Gary, making the game look very easy, like he did against John Higgins yesterday.
He just looks like a top player now, doesn't he? He looks like a player who belongs with the elite. And for Martin O'Donnell at the moment, just unable to really impact this final. It's still early days, but the next frame, the one before the first interval, feels something akin to a must-win for him, even at this relatively early stage of the final.
43 and the free.
Breaks of 55 and 43 then continue Gary Wilson's early dominance of the Welsh Open title match. Martin O'Donnell with food for thought. Wilson extends his lead to 3-0. Martin O'Donnell back in the arena here at Venue Cymru, having just nipped out maybe to compose himself, collect his thoughts. This is not the way he wanted his first ranking final to get underway.
Martin O'Donnell to break.
3 frames down already, but it is the first to 9, so there's still plenty of time. That said, he needs to register a frame pretty quickly, and this one would do nicely. Something to build on the other side of the first interval. Just to feel part of things, because at the moment, Gary Wilson is dominating. Wonderful trophy, made even more special by the fact that it's the Ray Reardon trophy, the great Welshman.
And don't forget the table pulls to the right. Yeah,
Oh,
he made that mistake in the last frame.
Gary Wilson 4.
You must have had a few tussles with Ray down the years on the table, Joe.
Yeah, many times. Yeah. Great player. What he didn't know about the game wasn't worth it. may be tempted by this, 3-0 up. Yeah, not far away. No. Does Martin play the double here? Yep, and he hasn't got away with it.
Tends to be the way when you're struggling a bit, you're being outplayed. That when you take on something like that, you leave it. Could easily have run safe, but it's not going that way at the moment for Martin.
I always think if you're going to play the double, you've got to play for the colour or leave the cue ball dead on the cushion. Cue ball. Oh. Oh. Very close. Got a couple of reds to the right corner that he can play on. Just a little heavy. Unless there's a plant there, it's end of break.
Gary Wilson, 6.
Wasn't worthwhile taking on. The cue ball would have been going into the reds with no colour available. Just looking at the possible 3-ball plant. Every time Gary Wilson plays a safety, he's putting Martin in a little bit of trouble. The pink on the right side cushion there making things a little bit difficult on the return safety. You can see all kinds of dangers when you're 3-0 behind. Oh, how close was that? Played that cue ball back into the balk area in case he missed it. But that came so close. Great shot maker, Gary Wilson. Great cue power. Yep, he's hid the red. Or has he? Or has he? I'm not sure if he has, you know. Plenty of danger if he takes his red on. If he plays back down for the blue, there's a red just above the blue. If he plays for the black, there's a red below the black. He's covered the red below the black, but there's a half chance here. The red to the baulk corner. Big shot. I'm afraid not. Tough shots those when you're 3-0 down, but it was a chance. And it's red along the cushion. When you're 3-0 up, these seem a little bit easier. Yep, nicely played. And he's in again. Off and running.
Martin O'Donnell's highest break in this final so far, just 15. He's only potted 13 balls. He hasn't laid a glove on Gary Wilson as yet. And now he's got a hope to get another chance in this final frame before the interval. Otherwise, he's in damage limitation territory already in this first session.
Nine. Sixteen. Seventeen.
Again, he could go into them. He'd be on the red, just above the cue ball. If he's not on a different red.
24.
Yeah, took the red onto the baulk corner, but had to get it the way he played it.
$25. $32.
Lots of left-hand side on the cue ball there to check it back and get closer to this red, to the left corner.
$33.
Yeah, just a little heavy.
40.
Always looked heavy going towards that left side cushion. Still on the red to the right corner, but more difficult than what it should have been. Oh, missed that by a long way.
Gary Wilson, 40.
Now, can he see the red to the right corner? He can't see enough of it to pot it. So a little fortunate there, missing the red by such a distance and not leaving anything easier. Suppose Martin O'Donnell just pleased to be coming back to the table. Could have been end of frame had the red gone in. And that is not the best safety shot. Again, left the red onto the right corner, didn't get the cue ball past the baulk line. He needs the break now, I think.
Yes, on another day, Wilson, having missed just now, would have left a red for O'Donnell. But right now, it's just not going his way at all. He's being outplayed, clearly, but he's also not getting that little bit of luck that he needs. He's going to have to regroup during that 15-minute or so break, if indeed Wilson goes on to clinch this frame now, which seems likely. Already 56 to the good. Shake of the head from Martin.
I think it started for him, Philip, in the first frame when he attacked the balls, opening the balls up all over the place, but missing the red to the right corner. And I think it started from there.
Yeah, because if he'd got that red, that 98 break that Gary Wilson made could have been this man's instead. And then, of course, the start of the final has a very different complexion as it is. Looking like 4-0.
Yeah, looking like, but not as yet. Lots of right-hand side on the cue ball to check it back down the table. Is he on one?
13.
I don't think he is. So Martin O'Donnell lives again in this frame. 63 points the lead, but the way the table is at the moment, if he could get a chance, he could do some damage. Good safety. Well, that works, moving the red away from the black. And getting some support from this crowd.
O'Donnell's pot success is now down in the 60s, 68%. Clearly that's nowhere near getting the job done in a ranking final. Still 83 there though, so given that the table is relatively open, there is still some hope for O'Donnell if he can get in next.
Yeah, Gary Wilson's safety though, he's pretty good. And he's got his man in trouble again here. Something to think about. Did well to get the cue ball back there. So just one, well, a couple of safe reds, one really safe on the cushion. That's more like it. Great shot, that. Absolutely great shot.
Well, that is surely the best pot that Martin O'Donnell has conjured today now. Can he capitalise on it and get himself right back in this frame? There's plenty of points there.
There is, but there's more reds gone safe, hasn't there? There's 3 reds that are safer. But a chance to pot a few balls, and he hasn't had many of those kind of chances. He's overrun that one.
Thanks.
Just a little. 58 points in the game. You want shots easier than this. Now he's overcut it.
Martin O'Donnell, 5.
After such a good opening red, his highest break remains just 15.
Yeah, but he needs a let-off like that. 4-0 was on the cards. red that Gary Wilson's just missed has blocked the pocket for the pink and black going in to that left corner. So this is a good red to remove. I don't think he can wait for the interval or come round quick enough.
One.
Wilson's own pot success isn't anything too special, actually. 83%, but he's monopolised the scoring.
7.
98, 52, 55, 43 and 40 in this frame, and now a chance to clinch a 4-0 lead.
8.
Well, that's Snooker's required stage. I don't think he'll play on, even if he gets the chance to.
13.
2 Snookers required.
14. Yeah. 20.
Plenty to ponder during the interval. He's played so well to get to this final, most notably the wins over Luca Brissell, and then of course his final frame deciding victory over Elliot Slesser when he made a superb century under extreme pressure to get the match won.
Thank you. 21.
But so far today he hasn't really featured, undercutting that red by a margin, and well, you saw what he thought of that one. Had a sniff in this frame. He knocked in that terrific red to the right centre, but it came to very little. And Gary Wilson has picked up the pieces.
26.
And he is looking very relaxed, very much in control.
27.
He can do no wrong right now. It was an amazing performance to beat John Higgins. And he's doing more than enough to dominate the title match at the moment.
43. 44. 41. 43. 43 under 50.
380 points, plays 50 so far in Gary Wilson's favour in the Welsh Open final, and the Scottish Open champion well on course to add this title to his collection. Martin O'Donnell with it all to do in the second half of the first session.
And Philip Studd.
A big 4 frames, the biggest in the life of Martin O'Donnell, playing in his first ranking final, and at times it's shown, to be honest. He's looked a bit edgy, a bit tentative. He's not been able to replicate the form that has got him to the title match. Gary Wilson, who's been here and done it before, worn the T-shirt,
Thank you, frame 5.
won 2 Home Nations titles
Gary
already,
Wilson
going
to
for a
break.
hat-trick today. He looks composed, he looks relaxed. He's not playing at his very best, but he's still playing well enough to have won all 4 frames, with 4 more to come in this session. 9, of course, the overall target for the title. And O'Donnell has to target winning this mini session 3-1. If he can, then clearly he's back in contention, but it's a big if at the moment, Joe.
Yeah, he had a chance in the last frame, didn't he? He knocked a terrific red into the right middle. But he couldn't make much out of it. And that's just the pressure that he's been put under in this final so far. But that's a good safety. Cue ball tight to the cushion. Always makes things a little bit more difficult for your opponent when that happens. Oh, how close was that? Now, has he got away with it? Can he see this red to the corner? Well, he can't see it directly, but I think he can pot it off the cushion. Whether he can get to a colour from it or not, I'm not sure. Just depends how thick he hits the red. Well, make contact with the other one. Yeah, it's swervable, but once again, can't get to a colour, but it won't do O'Donnell's confidence any good missing that red.
One.
Yeah, he lost the cue ball there when he potted the red, swerving round the pink. But he couldn't have landed much better on the yellow.
3.
But when you don't get punished for your mistakes, you know, you kind of think you're invincible.
4.
Good angle here on the brown to try and go into that cluster. Now then, how's your luck?
Gary Wilson, 4.
Anxious looks there from Martin O'Donnell. Can he see this red? More importantly, can he get to a colour from it? If he can. The black may go, but will he play for it?
One.
Doesn't want to be hampered. Well, if he's hampered, he's just not running his way at the moment. Oh, what a big shot. This could be 5-0 if it doesn't go in. It has gone in though, and that was a very brave shot Martin O'Donnell took on.
Well, he knocked in a great red in the frame before the interval into the right centre pocket, which didn't in the end amount to anything. That was at least as good. Can he finally put
9.
a break of substance together? Nothing better than 15 to this point. But that was a terrific shot. Gutsy, because of course if he'd missed it, he was leaving Wilson in again.
$14. 15.
Has another 3 reds at least. Try and build a lead. He's hampered, but why so hard? No need to play the cannon to the red. May take the red to the left corner. Yeah, good recovery shot. Can you see the black? And normally you'd play into the pack of reds here, but he's just going to put a few balls together. Again, overhit it. That was a great recovery shot.
30. One.
So the last of the easy reds coming up in a moment. Now, if he hasn't got the angle on the black
38.
to go into them, he might decide to try and bring more reds into play. Yeah, that'll do nicely. That's brought another 2 or 3 reds into play. Enough to win the frame at this visit.
Just looking for a foothold in this first session, something to build on, something to give him a bit of confidence back after a difficult first 4 frames where
47.
he was limited to a handful of chances, and those he did have didn't amount to much. But so far, this has been well taken.
Yeah, you feel he's got to finish the job, though. And he doesn't really want to go into the reds. He may have to play for a red into the left middle. And that's worked out very nicely. And pushing a red safe isn't too bad either.
54.
Makes the counter-attack a little bit more difficult. These 2 loose reds would be enough. 50 points the difference at the moment.
$55.
Still needs a red and a colour. Poor positional shot.
62.
58 in the game, 59 still left on the table.
biggest shot of the final so far for O'Donnell.
Yeah, good shot.
Should be a frame winner, and he's taken these very well when you consider he barely registered in the scoring stakes before this frame. The excellent black when he was hampered right at the beginning of the break, which could easily have gone wrong.
Yeah, what a brave shot that was, wasn't it, Philip?
And I'm sure the lion's share of this crowd, of course, there are plenty of Gary Wilson fans in the house, but certainly most neutrals will want to see a close final. They want to see a contest. There was a danger that Wilson was going to completely run away with it. And this break from O'Donnell has, barring snookers anyway, checked his progress for now at least.
Just one snooker though, so he could do with that in.
It's now 3 snookers.
Well, as you can see, the black doesn't go. He was looking to see if he could see enough of the pink. So I think he'll play on, Gary Wilson.
O'Donnell, 66.
That helps, putting the yellow safe.
Yeah, really good break of 66 from O'Donnell.
You were on a break.
Mighty close, and that would certainly have ended the argument in this frame. Gary Wilson, though, determined to make his opponent earn his first frame of the final. 3 snookers required.
Yeah, if he could get 2 big colours here. Look where the red is next to the yellow. He could get in tight behind the yellow and make it very difficult to snooker.
Eight. 9.
Yeah, what he could have done with being on the black, he would have had a nice angle to go down the table towards the yellow. Could have done with being close to this red. And that is a pretty good shot. Needs to run a little bit though.
15.
Another 2 or 3 inches.
And in taking the pink, it now means He needs 3 snookers to tie. But while there's a red on the table, there's hope for Wilson. And now there's a bit more. That's one of the snookers needed. .43 now the deficit, with 35 left.
Needs the red to slow down. And that's another good snooker. Going to be careful of the free ball. And again, doesn't want to hit the blue. Oh, why so hard? Well, it's okay, he's hit it. This time he has got to be careful of the free ball. If he misses the red, he could hide behind the green and brown. You wouldn't expect him to miss this, but you've got to expect what could happen if you do. Shouldn't be too difficult again this to hit, but be aware of the free ball. Well, that will do nicely. That puts paid to this frame.
Early in these Home Nations tournaments, of course, we don't have a mid-session interval because it's the best of 7. And those intervals always add an extra layer of intrigue because they can bring about a change in momentum. They can halt the momentum of the player on top. They can allow the player struggling just to regroup, get on the practice table, as we saw Martin O'Donnell doing. And he's come out on the other side of it with easily his best snooker of the final. A really nice 66 break in the circumstances. That pressure black early in the piece was key. And so O'Donnell finally on the board, but trails 4-1. The magnificent Ray Reardon Trophy at stake this evening for the first player to get to 9. And Martin O'Donnell finally has something to shout about in this Welsh Open final. An excellent break of 66, his first of any substance to stop the rot. 4-1. 3 more to come in this session. And if he could win this mini session 3-1, he's right back in the picture.
Yeah, 4-0 would be a delight, wouldn't it? Be a dream come true. Well short of pace. But the cue ball's finished up in front of the green. could just roll into the reds. Just got to be careful. Nice little rub on the blue. And just a change of luck here.
Yes, earlier you can be sure O'Donnell would have hit that blue full in the face and left Wilson a chance.
Great pot. Wrong side of the green.
Four. Martin O'Donnell.
Was a chance. Another very attacking safety, opening the reds up. Could have done with the cue ball closer to the cushion, but still nothing easy to go at. No potting available this stroke. Oh, did I say no potting? What a pot that was. Great pot. And deserved to be on a colour.
Gary Wilson, 1.
For Wilson, it's now ensuring that the perfect start that he made to this final is preserved come the end of this session. At the very least, of course, he'll want a lead, and a commanding one, which I'm sure in his eyes would be 6-2 or better. 5-3, there'd be a tinge of disappointment at that scoreline, given that he won the first 4, but he's seen O'Donnell put together a good break. He's now part of this match, but in trouble right now behind the yellow.
Wow, what a miss. Gary Wilson, 4.
Well, he was a long way off that. No. He can pot a red, but can he get to a colour? Well, he didn't really know where the cue ball was going, but he is on the blue. I'll say not ideally, but the way that he's been playing, you would expect him to pot this. And if he does go in, every chance of winning the frame. And it's there.
Seven. Ten.
So a pretty good looking chance here for Wilson to just re-establish complete control with another 4-frame cushion. Guarantee a lead in the process going into this evening's deciding session.
$15. 16.
Very fortunate to have found the gap there. But he was still on the red to the right middle, although it wasn't quite as nice a shot as the one he's just played. But what a red he got in with and led the snooker. That led to this.
$21.
Got to concentrate on the blue at the moment.
22.
didn't intend the kiss there. I don't think he's on an easy red now. Wanted to slide past that red. So, needs a good shot into a blind pocket. But he's got it. Good recovery.
28.
Perfectly on the blue.
He made that look easy, didn't he? It wasn't, because he was hampered a bit with his cueing as well. But didn't hesitate.
He could have finished on this red. Oh, he's on the correct one to get back to the blue. I didn't think he'd hit it hard enough.
$39. $40. $45.
Well, once again, Gary showing no nerves.
46.
46, the difference. So still needs another red, and I think he's straight on the blue. So the best he's going to be able to hope for here is that red near the black. And hasn't quite pulled it back far enough, so he's going to need the rest for this shot.
51.
Makes it a little bit more difficult. Just the red needed. Yeah, superb. Superb. And as Philip said earlier, he's not afraid of the winning line. When he sees it, he dives for it.
Very well.
That's a great frame-winning red.
Gary Wilson, 52.
Inevitably, at this time of the snooker season, thoughts turn to the World Championship, and the likely contenders, and Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump have been by far and away the players of the season. Mark Allen, of course, has won a couple of titles as well. But I think Gary Wilson is certainly a player who could do some damage there, whatever happens for the remainder of this final. He's already made the one table setup there, of course, and he's playing like an elite player now, isn't he? He's got all the credentials. He can score heavily and quickly. He's got a good safety game. He's prepared to be patient in the scrappier frames. The full package.
Yeah, more importantly, Philip, he's got the belief. He now knows he's one of the top players.
So one snooker required for O'Donnell to avoid falling 4 behind again, with 2 more to come in this session.
You can see this long red, so this goes in. Yeah, another great pot from Gary Wilson. So it's going to be 5-1.
Gary Wilson 10, and the free.
A fourth half-century of the afternoon tightens Gary Wilson's grip on this Welsh Open final, the reigning Scottish Open champion. 4 frames clear once again, with 2 to come in session 1 here in Llandudno. He leads 5-1. So Gary Wilson well on his way to a third home nations title. That would put him in pretty exclusive company. Only 4 players have won as many since the series started back in 2016. This is the 8th season. Of course, this tournament dates back way further than that, 1992. This is the 33rd staging of the Welsh Open. But the reigning Scottish Open champion looking good to make it a 3rd ranking title. And for Martin O'Donnell, realistically, you've got to think he's got to win the remaining 2 frames in this session. Even 6-2 would be a huge ask. The way Wilson's playing, the confidence that he's displaying, that would be an enormous deficit to overcome. So really has to steel himself now, try and find that form that did for Brissell and for Slessor. And indeed that he showed in the 5th frame to stop the rot. A really good break of 66, but his only break of any substance so far in his first final. Start.
Well, he's got a chance at this red to the right corner, but it's difficult. Plenty of pressure on the shot if he does take it on. Yeah, good shot. Terrific shot. Cue ball needs to slow down, though. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. Just a little too hard. And all he's got is the snooker. That very, very good pot.
Martin O'Donnell 1.
But not straightforward, this. It's not just a matter of landing up into the pack of reds. He's got to judge this well. Something to think about here for Gary Wilson.
Foul, a miss.
Oh, that may not go back. Again, it's a real pressure shot, this, if he decides to take it on.
One.
Missed the cannon, but he's still on the pink. Had to put everything into the pot. The cannon would have been nice, but he's still okay. He is competing after the interval. He's playing a little better. Would have liked a thicker kiss on that red, been straighter on it.
7.
That way he could have played for the black. Well, could have just rolled it in for the black. He might still play for the black from this red, but it's just a little bit more difficult to gain position. Again, a very attacking pot and position there, opening more reds up. That's more like it. Martin O'Donnell. He's played so well all week. He wants to keep that going in the final. Even if he should lose, he wants to make a good account of himself.
11.
Just over a year ago, before he won that Q Tour event, which confirmed his return to the tour, this would have been dreamland for Martin. Chance to play in a big final. So even if it doesn't work out for him today, there'll be plenty to look back on with pride and
16.
plenty to build upon going forward. But of course, he does want to reproduce the form that's got him here, really compete in this final, and who knows, still come out on top. It's perfectly possible if he can win this frame and the next, then he's certainly back in the match.
Yeah, he's got to keep it going. He hasn't got to miss an easy shot, and he's under-hit that one, so he's going to have to go down for the blue. He needs to get the right side of the blue. Needs to pot the red.
25.
Perfectly played.
Thirty. One.
The red directly above the black will go to the right corner, and that releases two reds to the left corner. So wants to be fairly straight on this next red. That's good.
38.
Yeah, just over-hit it. And that's the scene here in Wales at the moment. Beautiful surroundings. He's high. And always looked high.
Martin O'Donnell, 39.
Now has he got position? I think he may have got away with this one, you know.
.39, but still plenty there for O'Donnell. 44-point lead in all.
He hasn't got away with it, has he?
1.
So just one safe red.
And this really could be the killer blow in terms of this final being a contest if Wilson can clear up from here. Guarantee himself a 4-frame lead going into tonight's resumption, and possibly even a 6-frame advantage. Put him within 2 of the title.
Nine.
Just a little short of pace. Slightly hampered. No, he can get to it.
$15.
Just looking to see if those 2 reds closest together are a plant, and they look to be to me. $17. 18. So just 20 points in the game. Martin missed
25.
the black off the spot, but it was a shot previously where he hit the shot too hard to finish nicely on the black. Well, may have to take this to the baulk corner. Played for it to the middle.
2.
Now, can he leave an angle on the pink to bring that last red into play? There goes the red.
33.
All on this shot, you would think. Well, not ideally on the red. I think it will pass the yellow.
9.
No. Now, can he see it?
49.
Can Martin O'Donnell see this red?
This is a massive frame now. Both players have made breaks of 39. He can see it. This is a chance for O'Donnell.
1.
Well, again, a little shorter pace. He's not going to have an easy yellow if he takes the blue. And playing the green or brown, very risky.
Seismic difference between 6-1 and 5-2. Oh, well, at least that cannon has come to O'Donnell's rescue.
What a kiss that was. What a kiss that was.
Well, he's not had a lot of running today, and you generally don't when you're being outplayed as he has been, but he certainly got some there at a crucial moment.
I just don't understand why he would take the difficult green. Why not play the blue, which is guaranteed, and you play a difficult yellow, but not as difficult as what the green was. Anyway, he's had a result, hasn't he? Playing off 2 cushions. What about the free ball? Yeah, nicely hit. Yeah, tap on the table there. Gary Wilson. Excellent snooker. Where's it going to finish? Not quite a snooker, but he can't pot it. I'm saying he can't pot it. It does go to the left corner, but I'd imagine he'd just skim off the yellow as thin as he possibly can and try and get in behind the black. Oh, that's an excellent shot. He got the yellow exactly where he played it. Snooker's a bonus.
First really close frame of the final, a crucial one, particularly for O'Donnell, of course. If he can win it, he could still get out of this session relatively unscathed after a chastening start and losing the first 4 frames and then finding himself in this position at 5-1 down.
It's got him behind the green. delighted with that. No applause from the audience, but he'll be absolutely delighted to hit the yellow and get it safe. Both these players, very good safety players, although that isn't the best shot he's ever played. Does he take it on? Or play the safety? It's an easy safety to try and get the cue ball in behind the black. He needs a bit of luck. Well, it could have gone worse. It's a chance for Gary Wilson, but it's a difficult pot, this. Even more difficult to get nicely on the green to be able to get to the brown. So it's not just a matter of potting this yellow.
Thank you. 2.
Now, does he take the green on? He's been very attacking, hasn't he, Gary Wilson? It's a chance to win this frame and take a 6-1 lead. He doesn't want him to take it on. Yeah, well played.
5.
Well played, and the cue ball. Not ideal, but I think he can pot this and hold for the blue. Needs the pink. Right in the middle.
9.
Wrong side of the blue. A little bit of a life for O'Donnell.
Who took the green on. Didn't get close, really.
14.
The yellow, I should say. And Gary Wilson is this pink away from a 6-1 lead. And it's right in the middle, and that was cool as you like. Typical of the snooker that Gary Wilson has been producing all week here in Llandudno. And Martin O'Donnell's task has just got a whole lot harder. Wilson now 5 clear at 6-1. Gary Wilson back in the arena after what feels like potentially a decisive frame in this final, in the sense that all of the momentum is now with the Scottish Open champion. A frame that Martin O'Donnell could have won, perhaps should have won, when he was in initially on 39. Didn't get ideally on the black, overcut it. And then, of course, took on the green, as was mentioned in the studio, which was high risk. He got away with it initially, but then in attempting the yellow from distance, he left that for Wilson. It wasn't an easy clearance, but Wilson delivered, as he's done so often this week. And now, well, it's a mountain to climb for the underdog.
Okay, Martin.
The final frame of the session, needless to say, a must-win, and even if he does,
Martin O'Donnell to break.
it's going to take something Herculean tonight from Martin O'Donnell, but first things first, this frame has to be his. 6-1 down.
Yeah, it's an attacking shot that he played there, O'Donnell. Got hold of the cue ball well. Originally, he was going to take this red onto the left corner. But he doesn't want to give Martin an easy starter. And that's what he's done. He's given a chance away. Missed that one by quite a distance. Now, needs to pop them.
Previous frame may well have knocked some of the stuffing out of Martin O'Donnell. Had he been able to win it, then this session was still retrievable for him. Get out of it 5-3 from 4-0 behind. That would have been a terrific result. But of course now the best he can do is be 4 behind.
What a kiss that was, Philip. Kissing that pink. There's no safety shot back to balk area now. Not from down the left side anyway. The dreaded double kiss. Now, has he left anything on, or has he got away with it?
Touching ball.
Touching ball called, so I don't think he can pop this red to the right corner. That's a stroke of luck, that, for Martin O'Donnell, for sure. That could so easily have been 7-1. That visit. Still might be.
One.
Didn't realise he could pop that, so he's in trouble, Martin O'Donnell. That's just what Martin O'Donnell needed.
Gary Wilson, 1.
A reprieve. He was concentrating on knocking the red away from the black spot and forgot about the pot.
One.
So he's in perfect position on the blue. The pink is available to the right corner. The black's difficult, but still potable.
Six. Seven.
just one break of substance this afternoon. The 66 that won in frame 5. He was in the previous frame, of course, first. Missed the black on 39, having failed to land nicely on it. How's that cannon gone?
12.
Well, trying to clear that area in case he gets to the pink. Yeah, nicely done. The right side of the blue, perfectly played. He's getting support from this crowd. Now, if you could play for the black now, this would be the time to play for it with that red
18.
that's closest to the right corner. All he'd need to do is just drop the black in and he'd be on the red. That's over the pocket. Just depends what kind of an angle he's got on this next red.
$19.
So I'm going to just try and make sure of the black. The black still available to one of the pockets.
26.
Must get the right side of the blue, even if he has to play for one of the baulk colours.
$27.
He's under-hit it. Shouldn't be too difficult to get to that red to the right of the pink spot.
$32.
Now, can he get to the black from... No, he can't get to the black from that red. So it looks like back for the blue again.
$33.
And again, the wrong side of the blue. A right-handed player would play for the red just above the pink, and then the pink to the right corner. But he may have to play for the red to the right corner. No, it looks like he's playing for that red. If this goes in, every chance of winning the frame. This is the bigger one.
38.
Got to stay still on the shot here. Yeah, well played. And now this game is in Martin's hand. He's worked hard so far in this break.
A chance he might not have expected to get when Wilson was in and missed the black into this pocket.
45.
Yeah, a little straight. And he could screw back for the black, but it's so easy to overscrew it or underscrew it. Not easy, this shot at all. Could play for the pink to the left middle. Yeah, nicely done. That red was tighter than it appeared on screen.
Well, it's a great chance now for O'Donnell to end what's been overall a disappointing afternoon on a high note.
Yeah, this is how he would have liked to have started. I mean, if he does win this frame, he split the session 2 each. Had it gone like that at the beginning, then he'd have been a real part of this final.
And you think back to that red that he took on right at the start of the match when he spread things everywhere but missed. And that allowed Wilson in for a break of 98 and rather set the tone for this first session. But at least if he can convert this chance now, as he surely will, then
61.
It's something positive to take back to the dressing room and into this evening's finale.
Yeah, and funnily enough, Philip, he'd like to stay out there now. He really would. You know, he's found his game and he's competing.
He certainly played a whole lot better since the interval, that is for sure. Might have won the previous frame. It was tight.
This is... Sorry.
Yeah, that's the black that Wilson missed, which was something of a surprise, really. He hasn't missed much this afternoon.
No, as I say, he was just thinking about the cannon to the red on the black spot and just forgot about the pot. Everything was so easy to him. He wasn't missing any easy ones. So that came out of the blue. Well, that makes absolutely sure. So it's going to be 6-2. Can be done. Difficult, but it can be done.
Interesting to see that Wilson's overall pot success isn't that much better than O'Donnell's. Of course, he's scored a lot more points. He's missed one or two, not many of any great consequence, though. And he has played very solidly again, and it is a commanding lead for sure. It might have been even better, but he would certainly have taken it when they shook hands at the start of the afternoon. It's down to Martin O'Donnell to raise his game tonight to have any chance of turning this Welsh Open final around, but he's done what he absolutely had to do, which was win
84.
The final frame of the session, and he's won it in style. Can he go on now to complete what would be his 5th century of the tournament?
85.
It's going to need a good pot to continue the bid for the century. No century, but a vital intervention from Martin O'Donnell, who has won the final frame of the session in style. But he's got a mountain to climb this evening because Gary Wilson has been rock solid again And the reigning Scottish Open champion in sight of adding the Welsh Open crown at the midway point. He leads 6-2.